Welcome to our video series on creating and using mini-sites. In this video, we'll look at adding more advanced formatting. Once you have your mini-site template and you've started customizing it with your own text and the links you want if you're having any links in it, even if you just have a one-page mini-site or a mini-site made up of several or even more pages, then after the initial addition of content and text, specifying your subheadings, specifying your link text, and where your links are going, you can start applying more advanced formatting. And in Mozilla Composer, they put most of the formatting options in the single format menu. It makes things very straightforward. So let's go through some of these examples. Let's say you wanted some text to be bold. You would click, hold, and drag to select the text, format text style, bold, and that's all it takes. Pre-select the same text, format, and you can change the font here, format, font, and then your selections here. We recommend that you only stick with the Helvetica Arial font or the Times font, also known as Times New Roman, or the Courier font. Beyond those three fonts, you may have lots of fonts installed on your computer, but you can't guarantee that other people viewing your mini-site web page will also have the font installed. So, to be on the safe side, it's recommended that you stick to those three. And again, you can change the size, of course, and the color. Let's say we wanted this text to be orange. And it also gives you the color code here, the hash symbol followed by 2 Fs, 2 9s, and 2 zeros. That's the code for that color. Let's apply these settings to the entire first paragraph so we can see them very clearly. So back to the Format menu, and what else is available? Italic. And that's how italic looks. Underline. And that's how underline looks. I would use underline fairly sparingly. It's good for emphasizing certain words, but it can confuse people into thinking it's clickable, because obviously clickable text often has an underline, like this. A link often is underlined, so people might be clicking it and wondering why it isn't working. It can be effective, but use it sparingly. Format, strike through. Obviously, you wouldn't use that very often. For example, if you're putting up the price of a product or you were doing a special offer, you may want to strike through the original price, like this, but you wouldn't use this a huge amount. Format, text style, superscript. And okay, it doesn't seem to have done anything. If you ever make a mistake, it's very easy to simply go Edit, Undo, and actually, let's edit, undo again. You can edit, undo quite a bit, so let's get rid of the strike through. Now, let's select one word and try the superscript. Okay, it doesn't seem you can apply superscript to an entire paragraph, but when it's just one word, it seems to be fine. So that's how superscript looks. And let's see what else we have. Subscript, which is just the opposite, fixed width, non-breaking. You may want to play around with these for your own text and see what works for you. or you can play around with different colors. And what you can do, you may not find a huge amount of use for this, but you may find this useful from time to time. It's table cell properties. And you can apply settings to just this one table cell. And a table cell, this is the entire table. A table cell is just one block of the table. So, okay, click here, put the cursor here, Format, Table Cell Properties. Okay, the menu always seems to get stuck on the font options. So there we go, Table Cell Properties. And you can apply one color to this table cell, one background color. Let's say very light blue. And that's how it looks. You may find some use for this. I generally use this very sparingly. So let's edit undo that. Okay, just a few more formatting options. Format, and let me actually select some text. Let me select this paragraph. Format. You can indent the text, as you can see. It basically adds a left-hand margin to the text you select, and you can do it as much as you want. And you can also reverse it, either by doing Edit Undo, or Format, Decrease Indent. Okay. Finally, a very useful formatting option. Just press here at the end of the document a couple of times and put our cursor here. Our text cursor. Format, and we want List. And you can choose a style of list. Generally, you're dealing with bulleted lists, which is basically this, bulleted or numbered. So choose bulleted. That's how it looks. Item number 1, item number 2, item number 3. Every time you press Enter, it adds another bullet. If you press Enter again on an empty bullet, it ends the list. So let me show you that again. If I click here with the cursor, press at the end of the line to add an extra bullet. If you want to finish the list, don't add anything to the bullet. Just press Enter again, and the list finishes. So now, Format, List, Numbered. And you can say that's a bulleted list, and this is a numbered list. Item 1, Enter. Item 2, Enter. Item 3. And what you may want to do are sublists, so it's a list within a list. So if we put the cursor here, I'm going to press Enter to create a new bullet, as you can see, but then what I'm going to do is choose Format, Increase. Okay, it always seems to get stuck on the Font submenu. You have to shake the mouse a bit sometimes. Okay, Increase Indent. Submenu Item 1, press Enter. Submenu Item 2, and you can see how that works. Submenu Item 3, click there, press Enter, Format, Increase Indent, and yet another submenu. So that's how easy it is to create bulleted lists and submenus, and this works just as well on numbered lists. And as you can see, you add items and it automatically reorders the list so everything is in order. You would have to change the text then, or I have to change the text to change item 3 to item 4. And you can add submenus. Enter, Format Increase. Okay, again, Increase Indent, and this is a submenu. So you see how that works. So those are a number of the formatting options you have available to make your page look more effective, more attractive, and more striking. And finally, of course, very importantly, the ability to add graphics. I'm going to add some space and insert image. And the image property box appears. Image location, you can click on Choose File. I'm working on the desktop, so that's fine. And I have a small image there, louis.jpg, a tiny photo that was taken of me a few years ago that I use on some websites occasionally. It's not the most professional photo, but it seems to work okay. So open that. And at the moment, we keep URL relative to page location. Keep it ticked. Alternate text. You can add some alternate text here, which means that if the images can't display for any reason, the text you enter here displays instead. You can choose not to use alternate text, or you can add alternate text. And I'll just use my name, Portrait of Louis Allport. And there we go. Then, of course, you can choose Format, Align Center, and if you click on it and choose Image, Format, Image Properties, we can make some further settings. Actually, in some instances, the default settings are fine. However, I'm going to go to the Advanced Edit here, and you may want to look into this. Most of the time, you won't have to deal with this. But what I'm going to do here, well, it shows you the HTML, the code attributes you set up. So width, 89, height, 101, source, the source of the image, alt text, and what you can do is choose the attribute here. I'm going to choose the border attribute, and you can choose the border width. I'm going to choose 2 pixels. So OK that, and OK that. And now our picture has a black border 2 pixels wide, as you can see. And if we now save this, actually, let me do that again, but this time I'm going to do File, Save As, and let's give it a new name. Let's call it Page with Formatting. You don't need to add the .html because it should, if we remove that, automatically add it because you're saving it as Save As Type as an HTML file. Save. Okay, minimize Composer, and there we go, Page with Formatting.html. So let's double-click and see how that looks. And as the browser opens, okay, it takes its time. It should get there in a couple of seconds. There we go. So that's how it's looking now. As you can see, there's our formatting, our indented paragraph. There's the picture with the border, a bulleted list with a sublist, and the numbered list with a sublist. One final point. What you want to do generally is that whenever you're working on your web page, and I'm working on the desktop here, but whenever you're working, you want to have your image files in the same folder. You want to keep them together like this. You'll find that that makes things easiest in most cases. So that's how you can use Mozilla Composer to easily apply pretty advanced formatting to your web pages, which can make them very effective and even more striking, and can make them even more usable, especially if you're dealing with lists and numbered lists and want to start adding images and so on. And actually, just one final point for this video. If you just click once on the image, you can go to Insert Link, and you can make an image clickable. As you can see here, enter a web page location. So let's just keep things simple. http://www.google.com, and let's OK that. File save, back to the browser, refresh, and there's our image. And as you see, we had a black border there of 2 pixels wide. When it becomes clickable, the browser makes it more of a blue border. So if we click that, it takes us to Google. So that's how to make an image clickable. That's how you can apply formatting and images quickly and easily to your template and to your Minisite web pages.